What many people experience when their children get to teen years is that they can change dramatically. Your child, who was once sweet and happy most of the time, can suddenly start to experience quite severe anxiety, or they might start having angry outbursts and swearing at you when they never used to do that. Or in some cases, they can get so upset that they end up self-harming. Now, as parents, this can really throw us off our game because we're not used to dealing with these sort of intense emotional outbursts. And I find that we tend to react in two main ways. The first way we tend to react is to feel that it's our responsibility to somehow fix our child and to stop these emotional outbursts. And we can go into a great deal of worry and overwhelm in trying to actually fix this problem. And often, when we're trying to fix our child, it just makes the problem worse because we're pulled into this drama and it just blows it up. The other way that we tend to react is to go into a victim state ourselves. So we start thinking, I can't cope with this. This is more than I can handle, and start feeling really desperate about it. Or we might feel really hurt that our child is suddenly withdrawn or angry at us in a way that they weren't before. So we start feeling emotional pain and reacting to our child from that place of pain. And along with that victim reaction, we can often experience strong self-judging thoughts. So we might blame ourselves and think, this wouldn't be happening if I was a better mother, or I said the wrong thing, or I did the wrong thing. I should have set more boundaries, or whatever the story is. If we go into that self-judging thoughts, then we just end up in more pain. And often we end up withdrawing from our child because we're actually really upset ourselves. So if you've noticed that you are tending in one of these two directions, you've probably also noticed that neither of those ways of reacting actually helps your child or solves any problems at all. So is there another way? Well, I'm really pleased to be able to tell you that there is another way. It doesn't have to be either stop the problem and fix it or deal with it and suffer along with your child. The new way of dealing with these intense situations with your teenage child involves conscious acceptance. And I'll just briefly explain three main steps to conscious acceptance. The first step is to actively decide to accept what is arising in your child in the moment. So they may be screaming, they may be withdrawn, they may be really upset. Accept what is happening in the moment. Don't say anything. Instead, go within yourself and find the place of calm presence that is always within you. And from that place of calm, accept and listen to your child. The second step is what happens if you are in a lot of pain yourself. So it's one thing to say, just let go your judgments and fears and accept what is arising with your child. But the reality is that sometimes we're actually triggered into a reaction ourselves, sometimes from our own childhood trauma. So it's really important to actually accept what is arising within ourselves and to allow our own feelings to arise and to listen and be present to our feelings. And sometimes it's really helpful to express those feelings to our child in a really honest and open way. The more you can be vulnerable with your child and just tell them how you're feeling without blaming them in any way, the more we can restore connection with our children. So you can tell them that you're feeling sad or hurt or worried, and just open up to them about what you're actually experiencing. Of course, if that isn't enough to soothe you and bring you back to a place of calm, then it's a good idea to get some outside help to support you with your problem. Now, the third element to conscious acceptance is to pause and go within again and listen for intuitive guidance. So just allow some space for your own heart wisdom to arise and guide you as to whether any action is necessary. So you might find if your child is really angry and swearing and yelling at you, that you're guided to actually just move away from them. Go into another room, close the door, leave the house. It doesn't have to be for a long time, but it's basically just moving away without blame or judgment to care for yourself and to move away from an energy that is essentially repelling you anyway. Or if your child is very anxious and upset, you might find that you're guided to move closer to them, to offer them help from a place of calmness rather than a place of fear and anxiety yourself. So there is no right way. It's a matter of reaching acceptance first, accepting your own feelings, being honest about them, and then listening within to your own inner guidance. And often you are guided in a way that is completely new and fresh, rather than just playing out the old patterns that you've learnt from your own childhood. So once we actually get into this state of conscious acceptance, we are much more in flow with the natural rhythm of emotions. We're more in flow with life, and we're more connected to our children. And a lot of the conflicts and stress will start to just dissolve away. And no matter what the circumstances are with our children, we can actually find peace of mind within ourselves and lead from that place. Be the leader in your family that shows the way to peace. That is a beautiful role to play for ourselves and for our children. I hope that helps.